You will need scissors or a hole puncher, hot glue, some paper bags, yarn, a twig from your yard, glitter, regular glue, and some numbers that you can print off your computer. You can find these guys at any local craft store, and also the numbers that you print off your computer, just choose a rustic looking font to get something like this. This hole puncher you can buy at your local craft store as well, but if you don't have one of these guys, which makes life a lot easier, you're gonna have to cut each number out. Once you have all those cut out, it's totally up to you, but you can add some glue and glitter to the numbers to add a little bit of extra something. Take those numbers and you're gonna just hot glue them directly onto each individual bag. If you're going to do some larger presents within this calendar, you can just grab a regular size lunch bag and add that to the mix. Next, take your piece of yarn and you're gonna tie a knot on each side of the twig so you can have somewhere to hang it from. I secured mine with a little hot glue on each side. I then hung that guy up, that way I could see how the yarn was going to look, and I cut 24 individual pieces of yarn and draped it over the twig, and then tied the bottom of each yarn together to kind of make a loop for the bags. Once you're done tying all of those, go ahead and grab your bag, and you're going to put a strip of hot glue down the middle of the back of the bag, and then put the yarn directly in it while it's hot. Glue a bag to each individual string, and you can do them at different lengths like I did here, or you can do them cascading one direction. It's totally up to you guys, but I love how this one turned out. I did want to add a little extra detail because it did look a little too plain for my taste. So I took some ornaments and wired them to the branch to add a little bit of pop of color, and then I hot glued the bottom of a pine cone, put an ornament hanger within it, and also screw that on the branch for some texture. The awesome thing about wiring ornaments onto the branch as opposed to gluing them is because now you can change them each year if you want a different theme. For this one, you're gonna need your choice of color of paint, some cloth baggies that you can find at any local craft store, a pencil, a paintbrush, some rope, and some numbers to trace, or you can draw directly onto the bag. I found it easier if you found a little piece of cardboard and slipped it into the bag to draw the numbers on and to also catch the extra paint when you go to paint the numbers on. If you are like me and you don't like drawing the numbers on them because you don't feel too creative, I just took some stencils and I traced it onto each baggie, 1 through 24. Once I drew all those on there, I put the cardboard back into each baggie and then traced it with paint. So I absolutely loved the white, but I did not like that you could see the pencil through it when it was dry, so I retraced it with some puffy paint to cover up that pencil mark. So I would recommend maybe another color or not using such harsh pencil to write the numbers on the bag in the first place. Once those are dry, go ahead and grab a bag and flip it around. Take your scissors and go ahead and cut a tiny, tiny hole to thread the rope through in the upper right-hand corner. Take your rope and thread it through the back of the bag to the middle of the bag and pull it and thread all of those baggies on there. Once you have all of those on there, you can move them around and space them out as needed. I did a smaller rope so they were closer together, and then you can add garland or tinsel, pom-poms, anything to match your decor. You will need 2 twigs from your yard, some thread, hot glue, 3 printable cutouts you can find online, baggies, and scissors. So first thing first, I laid out my bags 12 and 12 to make sure they could evenly fit across both twigs. Once I saw that I didn't need bigger twigs, I went ahead and put the cutouts on top of the paper bags to make sure I liked the look of them before I hot glued them all. Set those aside and let's focus on the structure. Take a piece of your yarn and you're going to drape it over both of the twigs and then tie a knot to each one on the same piece of yarn to create the shelving. Take another piece of yarn and do it to the other side as well, and you're going to leave some excess on one side because we're going to connect the two together for a place to hang. This is what your structure should look like before we hang the baggies on it. I then cut 24 smaller pieces of the yarn and tied 12 to each branch. Since I wanted these at an angle, I flipped the bag around and I did a straight line of hot glue on the upper right-hand corner and then dipped it directly into one of the pieces of yarn so the other one could hang for some texture. For this guy, you're going to need a piece of wood, some stamps, some ink, wood stain or spray paint, rope, clothespins, some wood glue, and gloves. If you want, go ahead and stain or paint your wood. I wanted to stain it a little bit of a deeper wood to make it more rustic. Once that's dry, go ahead and line up 24 or 25 clothespins, depending how many presents you want to do. Make sure they're spaced apart equally, and then you're going to just wood glue them directly onto the stained or painted piece of wood. Next, stamp 1 through 24 or 25 depending. You're going to stamp a number above each clothespin. Let this dry completely before you flip it over and hot glue a piece of rope to each side to hang it. I just put some hot glue in the upper corners and put the rope right directly into it and let it dry, and then I could easily hang this up. I then added some white paint for a snowy effect since my numbers were kind of lopsided. I wanted to add some more decor to take your eye away from that mess. You can add snow like I did here, or you can add pom-poms, tinsel, lights, whatever you want to do, and you can also do whatever colors you choose. Simply put a nail in the wall and hang this guy up, and then you hang your baggies or presents with ribbons from the clothespin. I hope that you guys enjoyed these advent calendars, and I cannot wait to ship it to the people that responded on Instagram. I hope that you guys enjoy these all. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button on your way out and comment down below what advent calendar you might try.